This presentation explores the controversial decision by the International Astronomical Union to change the classification of Pluto from a planet to a dwarf planet, and why this change was necessary. On February 18, 1930, at the Lowell Observatory in Flagstaff, Arizona, a young astronomer named Clyde Tombaugh made a remarkable discovery. While studying some photographic plates of the constellation Gemini, he noticed a dim blinking light moving across the fixed field of stars. This tiny point of light was Pluto. Even though it was extremely small compared to the other planets and exhibited some strange characteristics, like a highly elliptical orbit, which was also tilted off-plane, astronomers quickly accepted this small icy sphere as our solar system's ninth planet. Pluto would hold this position in science books for 76 years. Then in 2005, a group of astronomers discovered a new object in space that would forever change our thinking about how our solar system is composed. On January 5, 2005, astronomers Mike Brown, Chad Trujillo, and David Rabinowitz were reviewing data of a large region at the edge of our solar system called the Kuiper Belt. What they found was an object that showed characteristics very similar to Pluto. They further determined that this object, which is now known as Eris, was not only similarly composed, but was actually larger than the tiny planet. This was the beginning of the end for the planet Pluto. It had long been theorized that the Kuiper Belt could contain large icy objects, but now that one had actually been found, the scientific community faced a problem. What was Eris? If Pluto was considered a planet, then it stands to reason that this new object, which is larger than Pluto, was also a planet. This meant that our solar system could conceivably have 10 and not 9 planets. However, the astronomers were not done yet. In the years following the discovery of Eris, they've been finding many more objects in the Kuiper Belt that are comparable in size to Pluto. Mike Brown has estimated that there may be up to 200 such objects in the region, and there's at least one, named Sedna, that has been discovered in the space beyond the Kuiper Belt. In August of 2006, the problem of what to do with these newly discovered objects fell to the International Astronomical Union, whose job it is to classify and define astronomical objects. The first order of business was to define the term planet. Up until this point in our history, there was never a need to have an official, internationally recognized definition for planets. This was because there was only 9 objects known to exist that fell under that category. But with the new discoveries in our outer solar system, something had to be decided. After much debate, a definition for the term planet was finally decided upon and released to the scientific community and the public. According to the International Astronomical Union, a planet was now defined as any object massive enough to form a spherical shape under its own gravity. A planet must orbit a star and cannot be a satellite or a star itself. And finally, a planet must have cleared its orbital zone of all debris. On that same date, the IAU also voted on the fate of Pluto, and by a vote of 237 for and 157 against, they decided that Pluto, according to the new definition, was not actually a planet, but a new classification of celestial object called a dwarf planet. This new definition not only caused Pluto to lose its planetary status, but it gave a boost to the former asteroid Ceres, which is now an official dwarf planet located in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Eris, the planet that almost was, is now officially recognized as a dwarf planet. And the newest member of the family is Makemake, a tiny red-colored dwarf planet recently discovered in the Kuiper Belt. There are around 50 more Pluto-like objects in the Kuiper Belt currently awaiting analysis by the IAU. And it's nearly certain that many, if not all of these, will also be defined as dwarf planets. Perhaps the loss of Pluto as a planet should not be viewed as a loss at all, but as a discovery of an exciting new kind of object in our solar system, an object that may not be as odd or out of place as we once thought. Pluto is no longer the last planet in our solar system. Instead, it has become the first of the dwarf planets.